So we finally finished the all four story paths in Fire Emblem Three Houses. And today I'm going to give you my overall opinions on which ones are the best, which one is the two mediocre ones, and the one which is the worst. And I feel like it's good to start with the worst, so you can kind of build up to like the number one. Like, ooh, that's the best one. It's like, yeah, it's the best one. If you know me, I've already told you which one's my favorite. But anyway, let's get to it. The bottom of the barrel one is none other than, oh god, it's the Church of Saros path. I hated this path. Why? Because it felt like you were kind of backed into a corner and didn't really let you explore the whole branch of the Black Eagles path. Why? Because it felt like there was aspects there, because you built up these characters' connection, but then it was like, oh, well, they're there, and it's like, well, I don't really get to care about them when they're older. And to that degree, I ultimately didn't care about the path that much, because it was like, I didn't want to support the Church of Saros, I wanted to go for the Black Eagles. They're just like, no, you have to get a C+ rank, which is fairly difficult within the time frame, especially how you play Fire Emblem Three Houses. But in terms, not the best path. I didn't enjoy the ending. The ending was really horrible. The Immaculate one was just like, oh, hey, it's the Immaculate one, in case you were just like, it's there. It's like, oh my gosh, it's there. And it wasn't the best, in my opinion. Next is the Blue Lions. One of my meh paths. I kind of liked Dimitri's story. It was pretty well done. I like the character in there. I really liked Sylvain. Sylvain was probably my personal favorite. Mercedes was great too. But of them, I felt like it had some of the better house represents. At the same time, I really did like them. They were fun. Dedu was great too. Dedu was a great person too. There were some that I'm just like, wow, that wasn't the best character. And it was like, yeah, the story was all right. It definitely went down the typical path of, hey, we got to defeat Edelgard. There wasn't much twists and turns in the plots in terms of that. It was defeat Edelgard and find Rhea, which was the plot of essentially a majority of them. But to that degree, I feel like the Blue Eagles was pretty alright. I generally liked Dimitri, and to its credit, I do like Dimitri and Edelgard's backstory. It is kind of interesting, even though I felt like it would have been a lot more interesting if they were not siblings, but actually romantically involved. Personally, that's my 2 cents on that matter. I did like the story in that one. I did like Edelgard as the final boss, and I felt like it worked really well. Next up, number 2 is the Black Eagles. Yes, the Black Eagles is put up so high because even though Variety said that was the best, that was the highest chosen one, it's not. I go Joe Zega all the time on this. The Black Eagles was a pretty good path. I generally liked all the characters. I generally liked Edelgard. I'm glad they didn't solely make her like a villainous force per se. What I didn't like was the characterization of Rhea, because I felt like Rhea's betrayal, kind of her evil turn, was not needed, but even though this is kind of the antagonist route, because Edelgard is kind of the main villain of almost all 3 of the stories, it was a unique path. I generally liked every unit involved in it. I liked Fernand. Fernand was great. Dorothea was great. Was great. Hubert is overpowered. Edelgard is overpowered. You can tell when I talk about like more of the houses, they were great. And it does come with the addition of Jurica, which is alright. I do like the idea of the story context, but at the same time, it's generally like, oh, no, I don't like some story components of this. I didn't feel like it was the best story path, and ultimately, it felt like the ones who slid in the dark was kind of an afterthought in the story, which it generally was, but it was just kind of like a major afterthought. It wasn't even really brought up. It didn't really have a conclusion in the Black Eagles path. It was just like, oh, they're there. Same with the Blue Lions. It was just like, oh, they're kind of there. So because of that, I generally thought it was mediocre. It wasn't as bad as Saros, but I put it one step above Blue Lions because I generally thought the story was much more interesting. And finally, my personal favorite, I'm going with my favorite house, my first house that I chose, the Golden Deers. Now, I generally like the Golden Deers because everyone included in the house. I loved every single unit. I thought they were great. I thought they were great characters, great actors. Joe Vega, I'm doing the Golden Deers right now, so you know I'm involved. I'm in the same house, buddy. I'm same in the house, buddy. You know, I'm in the same house. I like Claude. Claude was my best friend. He's just generally funny. He's a great character, and I just love Claude. He's a great character. If I couldn't say that enough. I feel like this one had, again, I also like the units. I was going to talk about the story, but I want to talk about the characters first. Raphael, he was great, the Honey Badger. I call him Honey Badger. I liked Lysithea. Lysithea was my first waifu. I generally loved her. Leone, I loved. I didn't really like Aghast. He was alright. Felt like the nerdy stereotype. At the same time, uh, Marianne was alright. She kind of sadistic, but I kind of liked her in the end. Um, yeah, I generally like more of those characters, and I just love them. Claude is my best friend. He's my guy I love, and we spend a lot of tea time together. In terms of the story, I think it was the best handled because it handled the ones that slid in the dark a lot better than all the other ones. The reason I say this is because you get that before Tomas is revealed that he's evil. You actually have that build up. You're like, oh, Tomas is like, I'm evil. It's like, whoa, Tomas, and it was just overall, I think the better. I want to say don't want to say story, but it was the better story. It generally was. Because of that, I'd say the Golden Years is the best path to take. I think the characters are great, the story is great. Rhea isn't suddenly evil, but does have the sudden implementation of the ones that still in the dark, which is good. I like Claude as a character. He has such a great personality. All the units I feel like had a great personality in the Golden Deer, so that's why I give my hat off to the Golden Deers. I forgot about Hilda, and I should have mentioned Hilda, but it's like I didn't really like Hilda to begin with, but she kind of grew on me as a unit. But yeah, Golden Deers is the house to go with. But anyway, if you could be so kind, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We're going to take on the Ashen Wolves DLC pack this Monday as we continue on with that. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Bye bye.